Hey, well, Mike, tell me how you feel about your trip from Minneapolis. Kind of just how you're feeling at this. Was this like the midpoint for you guys?
Yeah.
Are you guys are you going all the way to what? Just to California and then back to Wisconsin?
We might not even make it to California.
Think we wanted to,
Right.
but we're kind of on a tight schedule, so it doesn't look like it's gonna happen.
So where the farthest going to go is Phoenix?
That was
Probably.
the original plan. But then as we got going and we were kind of making up a lot of time, we thought, well, what the hell, we'll go to California. But now it's starting to look like Phoenix is probably going to be about it.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, you
We might still make it out there, but
You could spend the next 3 years filming people. You still wouldn't even get half of
Exactly,
everything that the
exactly.
grassroots has done.
Right. So how do you feel is the midpoint? Well, I don't know. It's like 3/4 done now.
Yeah, it's maybe 3/4.
So how do you feel as far as from Minneapolis now all the way from
It's
to
been an
Texas?
amazing whirlwind.
Really?
Yeah.
What have been both everything has been pretty much memorable, or is there any in particular that really stood out from the rest?
Doug Weed really stood out.
Really?
Doug Weed, the man he's a political insider.
Mm-hmm.
He was when Bush was practicing for the debates back in the last election. He was the guy that he practiced with.
Right.
He was a confidant of 4 presidents, and he was almost more interested in us than we were in him. And so it was curious to see how much. It's been the people that were outside the movement. And
Right.
Doug Weed said it the best. He said, the people inside the movement don't have a clue of how much respect they have from people outside the movement.
Oh, okay.
And that, coming from a guy that's a confidant of 4 presidents,
And was he talking about like the overall political scene, or was he talking about like the Republican Party?
No, I think he was talking about the overall scene.
Oh.
And I asked the same question of Paul Levinson, who was the liberal, the chair of the Fordham University Communications and Media Department. And he said basically the same thing, which is that, I asked him because he came out in support of Ron Paul as a liberal. We didn't endorse him or anything like that, but just, blogged positively about Paul and about the media bias. He came, that's what he does. He does media and communications. And he used Ron Paul as an example of media bias. And which was a bit controversial, especially for a liberal professor. And I asked him what what the scuttlebutt was with him talking to his peers. Did his peers, And he again said that we've got a lot of respect from outside of the movement, and we need to capitalize on that. We need to continue it. We need to continue doing everything right, just promoting the rule of law. And we'll win. That's been interesting about this trip, seeing.
So all from your thread on Ron Paul forums, how many all those people that you've taken pictures of, are those the only people that have been interviewed, or has there been other people?
No, there's other people that have been interviewed at the Minneapolis rally.
That you haven't taken.
There was, and I'm not sure because I was still walking.
Oh, okay.
And I kind of came into this at the end of it. When we first started walking, Chris asked me what I was doing after the walk.
What are you doing?
What are you going to do after the walk?
Right.
And I was like, well, I don't know yet. He goes, well, you want to come help us on a documentary? And knowing Chris's work, it was like, yeah, okay. And then when I found out what we were doing, I was kind of like, wow, it's kind of an honor.
Right.
I'm going backwards it's more or less backwards on my bike route.
Right.
So I'm getting to visit a lot of people. I didn't get a chance to come here to San Antonio on my bike ride.
Yeah, because you went up to Austin and...
Yeah, well, Stephen put me through Abilene because I guess, the desert out here between El Paso and here, there's nothing out there.
Yeah,
you don't want to be out there on a bicycle.
Yeah.
They say, some of those towns, they say there's a town on a map. There's no town there. There might have been a town there 10 years ago.
Yeah, ghost town.
But they ran out of water, and there's nothing there but dead bodies of people trying to bicycle across it.
Yeah.
So So coming down here to San Antonio is cool because I had missed it when I wanted to come through when I came by last time.
So what you? How was your interview with Ron Paul up in Washington D.C.?
It was neat. It's always a bit.
Was there a big contrast between Ron Paul and BJ, or were they similar in terms of their overall how they came across to you?
They're different animals.
Really?
BJ's a younger man. BJ's you know, they're different animals. But Ron Paul's got so many years in politics.
Right.
That and the wisdom of those years in politics, and the wisdom of just the life he's led. Yeah, anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So BJ doesn't have the age for that. So there's going to be differences like that, but as far as promoting liberty and doing it as a candidate should be acting, BJ is something else. I mean, BJ might surpass Ron Paul in his campaigning ability.
Right. Yeah, he's like got his own playbook that's really, the support that I've seen just via on YouTube and stuff, is just by, when I say support, I mean basically the videos of over there in his district and the supporters that come out for his luncheons and the various picnics and stuff are pretty, compared to normal, seems like there's a lot more energy.
Yeah, there. And a lot of that's BJ. BJ's he's very personable. He cares about everybody.
Yeah.
So when you care about the people, part of maintaining a good volunteer network is taking care of your people.
Yeah, and he helped he helped motivate me to so I ended up doing, if you go to his website, you'll see my video that I did for him cool. On his website. So
yeah he's
and here I am in San Antonio, and I did a website, a video for him
he's
that
like
up
that.
in North Carolina. So
he's like that. He's that kind of person that's almost a magnetic personality.
Yeah.
That you just want to do things for, and a lot of that's because he's out doing it himself.
Right.
He's one of those guys that he won't ask you to do something that he won't go out there and do. Mm-hmm. So he really is. He's got a lot of good leadership qualities, and I look forward. I got good hopes for that election. I mean, if anybody can pull off an election in that district, it's not an easy district. Mm-hmm. If anybody can do that, BJ can do that, and his ability to cross party lines with his messaging. Mm-hmm. And just the change that the revolution brings. I mean, like I said, with the Levinson, with weed, we have a lot more respect than we suspect.
Right.
And so capitalizing on that, there's a chance that BJ will take that, and that would just be spectacular. It would really invigorate the grassroots. We would have won one.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff makes a big difference to a lot of people.
Yeah.
But regardless, the experience. If he doesn't win, I'm sure he's planning on he'll be starting his next campaign 3 months after 3 months after it ends. Mm-hmm. So I look forward to seeing BJ as a congressman.
So you're the rest of your trip is you're going up to Austin, right?
We're going over to Austin. We were hoping to get down to Lake Jackson. We don't know if we'll be able to do that. And then we head out across the desert to Phoenix, to really the birthplace of
the revolution.
Of the revolution, yeah. Ed Vallejo out there. He started the first Ron Paul for President meetup group before Ron Paul even announced he was running for president. And then when the campaign decided to use Meetup, they restructured it and they gave it the new URL. So it became RonPaul.meetup.com, and that's when they became number 7. But they were number 1. They were the first Ron Paul meetup group, and they developed the Revolution logo.
Right.
And
that was done by the speaker,
Ernie Hancock.
Right. He was at the Revolution March, right?
Ernie Hancock's been everywhere.
Oh, okay.
He's been everywhere I've been, and 20 more places.
Wow.
Yeah, that man.
I think he was backstage a lot, wasn't he, at the rally?
He gets speaking. He's a mover and a shaker.
What about you, man? You need to.
I just quietly do my thing.